Lime does manage to throw something back, but it's still the one-man advantage for Team Nexus.
Molly's to be thrown out on towards that A side. However, no commit coming in just yet. So there might be a little bit of an over-rotate from one of those B players moving towards CT. It's still, of course, JR trying to contest that window area. Something we saw in the previous round as well. And just to go back on towards that, we saw at least Kalinka standing there quite strong, doing a really good situation of him holding there. However, we should also highlight that BTM played it even better. Waited for one of his teammates to run past quickly, and then able to at least bring it back. JR now getting a frag on towards Ime. Now also having to escape the fire, but coming back after. No, it's going to be Raga. An upper for the side of Nexus, picking up the pistol. And now with 20 seconds left, they have to commit towards the B side. No player standing by from Nexus, apart from, of course, Raga rotating back on towards the side, and he can't deny this plant at this moment in time. He will hear it go down. He knows the rest of the team will be rotating. But again, it's a 3-on-2 situation with those two AWPs looking for a peek to come in from the side of Hellraisers. It's going to be hard, however, because Hellraisers knows there are two ops, so they won't be too aggressive on their checks. And there isn't too much utility to work with for the side of Nexus. Flashbang now to come in for the close corner. No one actually there. One bench, one on side. Flare standing by. He will get a one-tap. He will be traded out by Raga. Good retake so far. But it will be J Lime getting one kill in return and one round as well. For Hellraisers now to go towards 12. But yet there are many, actually quite a few map points left into play for Nexus. Also having some reserves to buy in towards this round.
A whopping 3, you could say, if we counted those map points up. And we'll see Nexus, they do have the reserves, I believe, to nicely buy this round out. And with that, we'll be seeing Hellraisers facing off again against quite... Oh no, never mind. Totally miscalled that there, gotta be honest. That was just
tested you there.
Yeah, exactly. That was just a pistol upgrade, and I based it off the wrong amounts that I saw there. Of course, those kind of mistakes can happen.
Well, Players is just holding the angle, gets the first frag in with his Galil. Actually, the buy currently for Hellraisers not that great. 2 Galils, or actually 3 Galils rather. 1 AK and an AWP. If Nexus had a little bit of money, that would have really worked out well. As Seminsa being tagged up by the Molly now has to go towards Shadow. There's 2 Deagles still left standing for that CT side as this wallbang almost takes care of the player down there under wood. It will be Raga going down, but Ime with the Deagle once more being able to commit on towards a kill like we've seen him do many times before. But, well, we would assume this round to go towards Hellraisers. Bomb going towards top mid, might go for an ace, but if they do get more kills, and with the aggression coming down from the Nexus side, it is actually possible. Seminsa is low, but still on that wood place as he's waiting.
I mean, in this case, I believe that Nexus is playing this out admirably. You know, Seminsa, like you say, he is on that wood spot, and he can just wait it out, maybe go for that Palace engagement, or we'll wait for the Palace player to push out. IEM, or Ime, indeed. Here, waiting around mid. He could maybe still snoop a frag or 2 off them.
Wait, how did that happen?
Well, Seminsa probably pushed through and ended up getting killed.
Yeah, but like he was already in, then tried to walk back out, and that's a little bit odd. 20 seconds left. J Lime will get the last kill on towards Ime, and that will mean it will be 15-13. Still 2 more rounds, of course, for Nexus to try. Yet they will really need to make it happen towards this one, because now they are buying up whatever they can, leaving no money left unspent, apart from, of course, Sugar Daddy BTN.
Ooh. Very fitting, of course.
Oh no, he just spends it, never mind.
Oh.
I won't speak again.
Keep dreaming. It's okay, you know. Well, the point mainly being Nexus is spending the money now, throwing around the dollar bills, and let's see if they can actually make those work, if they can actually turn that into a round and, of course, map win. It'll all get down to the critical plays here. It'll all get down to the fact that Hellraisers should be denied trying to actually get around here, trying to get onto a site for starters. Rega's position here could be good if they do end up pushing through that, but at the same time, J Lime could also be a thorn in their side coming from T-Ramp.
It's going to be a problem just moving up towards the BF's area. Xello holding the angle with the AWP, hoping a player from Underpass would actually come up, but oh, that's a good flick on towards the T-side player. He's now also contesting, meaning the other player, of course, not really to be expected there. However, sometimes when there is an up guy, you do expect possibly a little bit of support. They're now smoking it out. That means Flarage can't really do all too much to get some map control in. This might mean, however, that Hellraisers will go for it. They execute it with the smokes coming in. They will. Seminsa staying in the sandwich. A molly will fly by. He's quite lucky not to be contested, as he might actually get a frag in. It's going to be BTN the first. They're still holding on. Flashbang to come out. It's a great flash and a kill to come in from IEM. BTN as well. Only Flourish alive in that 1v5. And Nexus, can you do it? Well, yes, you can. Sabinta a little bit of a cheeky play in the end, but it's going to be 16-13, and they do win the map. On towards, of course, their own pick. Now going towards Vertigo.
You get a solid and deserved, you were right. You said so. Absolutely. You got this. I give it to you. You know what? I was wrong. I overestimated Hellraisers. Clearly, Nexus here came out on top. Understandably so that they're in your hearts, you know. One map down for them so far, and potentially, depending on how Vertigo goes, and Vertigo, we do have to say, it's pretty close. It's 50% to 44, and that's in favor of Nexus, of course. Important to remark on. So who knows? That could just be the map. That might actually go to Nexus, and then we could see another day of 2-0s, which maybe perhaps does still feel a little bit weird, but hey, if Nexus plays that well, then it's deserved, isn't it?
Well, we'll need, at least if Nexus does win, need a few overtimes on towards Vertigo, because otherwise I will be really...
Yeah, what will our sleeping schedule be like?
I think we will have a little bit of relapse as well.
It might become normal or something. That would be weird, wouldn't it?
I would not feel okay. Going towards Vertigo, I do think that Hellraiser has a very good chance at least bringing it back. Going towards Inferno, it can be anyone's ball game. I do still believe in Nexus. They have now really shown up, and it seems as if they are learning from what has transpired before. The problem is Vertigo, not a map they played against Hellraisers prior. No. Are you saying Hellraisers to come back now?
Ooh, well, I did go for Hellraisers when we started this, right? I also said that it would probably be a free mapper, so at least I've got that going for me. But I will admit, with the performance here now, this was 13-16, you know, for Hellraisers then. So they lost, and it's not even that they managed to push it to overtime. So quite honestly, kind of hands are up in the air here. I'm not too sure if I should still believe in Hellraisers. This could very much be, you know, from this point on, Nexus's game, and I think maybe we might just see another 2-0 tonight, to be quite honest.
Ooh, bold calls already. Nexus seeming strong. You're now also finally going on the Nexus Green Heart hype train. We're going to a short break, then we're going to see if Hellraiser can bring it back on Vertigo, or if indeed we will have yet another 2-0. See you in just a bit. what a match from Nexus in the first of this best of 3. We're going to see if they will be able to finish and fix everything towards Hellraisers. It's going to be hard. I'm just a little bit...
You're too excited.
I can't breathe anymore. Nexus with the first win. I'm just a little bit flabbergasted, but of course, I always believed. You're now starting to believe as well, because Hellraisers, for the first time in at least this week, of course, also the third time these teams actually face each other this week, actually struggling. Losing a map, 16-13. And now going towards Vertigo, I think it could be anyone's game.
Yeah, Nexus taking on that surprising position of sort of being the... well, you could have called them a little bit of an underdog at the beginning, but now just being clearly on top of their game, you know? They beat Hellraisers 16-13 in the first map. That was Mirage, and you could say, okay, Mirage, fine. That was actually, you know, statistically in their favor. Thing is, now we're going to Vertigo, though, and Vertigo is still statistically in their favor. So, you know, well, things are looking very positive for Nexus, to be quite honest. The Romanian powerhouse, sort of, you know, they really do show up, but they do make it a bit, you know, tight sometimes. They do make it quite the struggle. They really have to fight for it. But in the end, the result is there. And who knows, you know, maybe if we do go to Vertigo now, you know, it's maybe a case of overtime, 1 or 2. It's very potential, I think. That's very possible. So maybe with that, we'll see if right now Nexus can finish this out on a 2-0 score, or maybe, just maybe, Hellraisers is going to have the comeback, well, of just this entire match, you know? They're going to show up, they're going to say, Vertigo, that's our map. This is our territory. We're going to throw you right off that skyline right behind us. And, well, that's the question, and what do you think? Do you still fully believe in Nexus, I'm guessing?
I do still fully believe in Nexus. Their win rate, ever so slightly better.
Just a
Their
bit.
performance on the first map, ever so slightly better. However, they need to start good from the get-go.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, as you saw as well towards Mirage, being in a deficit will hunt you in the later rounds. Makes it easier for Hellraisers to either put pressure on towards your economy, or of course also to come back easier in the end and maybe force overtime, maybe do something else crazy, of course. But well, Nexus.
No, crazy. That's the.
Oh, they're already
team.
out.
They're
already in the lower bracket. No, but I think that if Nexus wins the pistol round and is able to string together a few rounds, they should be golden. However, if Hellraisers get some momentum going, I think Nexus will be maybe feeling a little bit pressured. And then you might do some crazy stuff, might go for some unnecessary aggression. And that is the big risk they are facing.
Very solid point that you make. And I think, yeah, the momentum is, I think, everything that it's going to be about in this map. You know, if that momentum goes the way of Nexus, there's a very likely chance that they're going to be, you know, in the vibe, in the groove. They're going to really feel it, and they're going to go for that win. They're going to be convinced. However, of course, if it does go the way of Hellraisers, then I am a little bit worried. You know, it could very much be going their game, and it could become their game as well, with how they might play it out, how they could really play out those angles well, how in Vertigo, if their utility is on point, if, you know, around the bomb sides especially, you know, if they really know how to play that out, because I feel like in Vertigo you see it the most of all, that sometimes around the bomb sites, you know, teams really just mess about a little bit, you know, things get really chaotic on that site, and with that, you know, I think, well, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a case of also looking and seeing, you know, maybe also starting off with the knife, who wins that one, who can decide what site they want to start on. And then from there on out, well, let's see first with this knife now, but from there on out, then it could be anyone's game, you know?
Well, we're currently standing in front of Vertigo. We're now going towards Vertigo. I'm having a little bit of Vertigoception as we're getting ready for that knife indeed. Of course, you want to usually start on the CT side. I think that's none different at all for this map as well, as of course they are now finally facing each other. Some having some fancy skins, some less fancy as well. It seems like Hellraisers this time around again quite good on the knife, and most likely once again starting on towards that CT side, eventually just piling on towards Seminse.
Of course, Hellraisers have won the knife before in the past, and it doesn't really mean everything. It could just as easily mean that, well, it's just the side that Hellraisers might be starting on that's in their, how do I put it, in their advantage. But it could just as easily mean that Nexus just has a bit of a delayed win.
Ooh.
Yeah, maybe at the beginning they'll have to give off a few more rounds, a few.
Well, you are wearing the same shirt, so we should be on like the same opinion as well, right?
Oh, right. Yeah. Does it work like that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to keep that one in mind.
You have consistency, teamwork, everything going for us. At least it's now time for that pistol round, of course. Nexus actually starting on that T side. The overlay will swip around in just a second's time. And Nexus, well, I'm curious to see what they can do with the Glock, if they will have a raid bus as well, because of course on Vertigo there are quite a few long angles. So why won't you actually pick up that P250 on one of the players, be able to do something on long range? Well, actually, Raga is bringing it for himself, not giving it to any of his teammates. It's a little bit egocentrical, but of course it might work. Xello now running up with the Glock in hand, going rather quickly towards this A side. BTN is holding the angle. Oh, J Lime expecting it. However, there will be a return frag from, of course, a P250 carrying player. Xello will go down from ramp. There will be more pressure from J Lime. And it seems like Hellraisers has a perfectly executed pistol round for themselves, whereas Nexus will fall. A 1-2-0. Once more, the primary pistol round going in favor of that CT side, which, once again, is Hellraisers.
Yep, they get the win with that defuse. Of course, the advantage for Nexus being they did start with a bomb plant. They've got a bit of extra cash to play with, and I do believe we should be seeing... Actually, no, Nexus in the past, they have played by just playing it safe on the second round. You know, they don't...
Well, you can upgrade pistols.
Yeah, they
still have a great buy in the next.
Oh,
and
no,
you know that at this moment in time, Hellraisers thereby won't be so great. So pistols could still do the trick.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's the point, you know, that Nexus, they aren't going to really just force it out entirely. They are just going to deal with the upgraded pistols and make the best out of it. Now, let's see, though, with these Deagles, BTN playing around with it almost. And see if they get some lovely 1D. Problem does start it off well, though. Seminse taken out, and damage dealt on some of the other players.
Good flick almost to come in from IME. At least JR will take some damage. And now Xello is looking for a frag to at least return upon his fallen teammate. The problem is, all of the players from the Nexus side have now fallen as well. No kill has come in. It's going to be J Lime with the last frag as well. Meaning that Nexus, now going on towards their buy round, is hoping to at least get back up there. They will be able to bring those AKs, some utility, most likely no AWP. But, of course, AKs can still work if you get on towards that closer range.
Of
and
course.
even on long range as well, just a tap will do it. And I won't expect Hellraisers, now playing this as a bonus round, to have an AWP either.
And looks like you're right. It's that those two MP9s. Yes, you clever, clever man. Those two MP9s continuing now, but let's see, you know, maybe they can get themselves some extra cash with that bonus round as it may be. And oh, Raga, they're severely damaged by the utility. JR continues it, takes out Xello. Luckily for Raga, of course, he doesn't check around the corner, and Raga can actually get a reflag in there. J Lime out of the equation. Makes it down to a 4v4 now. Raga pushing ahead. He does leave some shots, but nothing more comes of that. JR, though, goes to this elevated position. Tries to maybe outpeak someone, get the early frag on, but that doesn't seem to work so far. Right now, falling back onto the site, and Nexus trying valiantly, but so far not actually managing to get on top of that site. BTN from Yellow Tarp, though, could make a bit of a difference along with his teammates.
Of course, Raga low from the get-go, trying to at least bring something back, actually having that first frag for his team. Seminse and IME both getting a kill. Look at the HP on the players. Is there a nade? Unfortunately not for Hellraisers. Oh, where? There was
yes,
one.
There was.
That actually goes on towards BTN. It's going to Seminse, also very low spray. Free smoke takes him down. Bomb will be dropped. There's a player so far away, only now coming in. That's going to be IME. And, well, the problem is that Problem is flanking around with the MP9. He's joining there, trying to get some money. That's an easy $1,200 made. And an upgrade to the AK quite freely. A free O for Hellraisers. They had a lot of struggle, but the problem was, from my opinion, Nexus didn't really commit on towards the plant. They were hoping that Seminse with the smokes was able to get on towards the side and go for a plant. Unfortunately, they weren't.
I was expecting you to actually say, you know, the problem was the problem, but...
No. Like,
you don't have to...
that was also Nexus playing too slow.
Yeah.
But they weren't expecting Hellraisers to take such a risk because, well, for the same chances, there would have been a player either watching it or going aggressive via Yellow Tarp himself.
Yeah, well, so far, Hellraisers, they have started off well, and they continue. Flaric and Kalinka both getting lovely frags, make that a double for Flaric even. Mid-control completely denied. A swift round here for the lads from Hellraisers. Nexus being properly shot away, and now rather swiftly having to, well, make the best out of it. Looks like they are just going to rebuy, and here we see it again. This strong mid-hold from Flaric, along with them around stairs. The the plays from Problem coming in.
Well, Nexus once more not really starting off too well. We've seen that before on towards Mirage and of course some other maps they played against Hellraisers in the past. Their MDL match, they were 0-8 behind before they actually were able to bring it back to a 16-13, still in favor of Hellraisers. But that's quite a decent comeback to say the least. J-Lime around the yellow tarp, as you do see IEM trying to play around. The problem is, well, Problem actually this time. He will actually get the kill once more with a nade. Now IEM with a refrag on towards Problem. That player will eventually fall as now more nades will chime in from that CT side. BTN standing by with his AK and Kalinka going for a cheeky aggressive push. And he shouldn't have, because that was a clean kill to come in for the Romanian side. And well, maybe the Romanians will be the king of this match and will be the king of Vertigo. As Zello is standing by the AWP, will he be caught off guard? As Mintze actually moving on towards the B side. How did he get her? Just sneaking up there. JR going down, and that means we're now on towards a 4-on-2. Mintze still playing close on towards the scaffolding. And it seems to be a bomb plant and possibly even a save from Hellraisers.
Hellraisers could be losing their first round here. Be a good start for Nexus, and they continue it. They even they even play it out rather quickly as BTN and Xello there get the last two frags. That is the economy of Hellraisers also completely pulled down, and with that they'll have to tap into their reserves, which is of course a positive situation for Nexus. Start putting on that economy pressure, make sure that Hellraisers don't stand much of a chance that they can't continue building up those reserves, and with that then book the result that you want to achieve.
Well, it's going to be the AWP once more, of course, for Xello. Having a very good round coming in for themselves. JR also upgrading to that long-range weapon as there might be a peek coming in. However, J-Lime doesn't really dare to do it after expending a flashbang. And with utility not being too common on the side of Hellraisers, they should be a little bit worrisome not to waste too much too early on. Of course, now they're trying to play some map control and, of course, waste some time on towards the A side. At that B, they're not really doing anything apart from playing rather close, not actually getting some control in. BTN drops the bomb, now also goes to join his teammate, holding off a possible B push. It's Nexus trying to set traps for their opponents who are currently not falling for it. Or are they? Problem moving in closer at the B stars, actually going down. The pressure might be gained by their opponents. Good volley on towards Problem as well. He didn't really know this one existed. He did get a kill towards BTN. Gets one as well onto Raga. And that should have been an easy trade, or at least an easy kill for Nexus, as they did manage to bog that one up behind the smoke. There's a player. It's Flarage. The moment DT side player moves up towards the scaffolding, he will get spotted as Mintze. Also towards that A, or actually the B side. Flarage actually letting the player go by. Zello going down as a 2-on-3, and IEM, he's actually keeping tracks on towards Flarage as well. Now, which side will they pincer? Most likely towards B, I would dare to say, because, well, it's going to be easier to clear all those angles, and you don't know where, of course, J-Lime will be. Already having a frag, and JR with the AWP, actually susceptible for a push. Pre-fire's coming in, JR looking at the stairs, will get the first. 10 seconds left, and the bomb has been dropped once more. JR just playing the time, nothing else to do, no scope coming in. It's a 5th round for Hellraisers, and unfortunately for Nexus, they have to give one back towards, well, the team that has beaten them so many times in this week.
Yes, after getting the their first round win, they quite immediately have to throw it right back at Hellraisers. It's a shame for Nexus, but it is what it is, and there is still a solid chance for them to come back. We're still in the early part of the first half, so not all hope is lost for Team Nexus. And as you can see, the buy on their side is also quite fine. They have almost full utility, armor, etc., AKs, and even an AWP. Let's see if Xello, though, can actually use this AWP to its fullest potential. Get that opening pick that Nexus needs to get on top of the site.
Well, he had the right pre-aim, but unfortunately he didn't make it work because he didn't pull the trigger. BTN with a good refrag on towards J-Lime, however, that still means it's going to be a 4-on-4, and Hellraisers still having a lot of map pressure, and JR, of course, with the AWP, quite lethal, but currently playing at that A ramp. He's pushed through quite a bit, which means that Hellraisers also has a lot of intel going for them. And with Problem now being supported by Kalinka moving on towards that B side, they should be able to hold this off for a longer time. Seems as if they might go for a boost here for the T side, but problem standing relatively close. Go for a pre-fire, yes, he does have a hunch. Of course, there will be wallbangs trying to get him in return, but so far not really working out. Minse looking here for a possible play on the rafters, but, well, nobody checking there. However, Kalinka is close. Third player already on towards the B side as well as JR so far. Just still holding down the A ramp with his AWP. Nothing to do there, but at least he's doing his work.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to stay on your angle, you know? Do your job. Hold your angles, hold your position on the map, and be content with doing that. Now let's see if Problem is also going to stay content as Nexus tries to push onto the site here. He gets the first frag. Does eventually not connect to the third, but the second isn't there either because it's Cello coming in clutch and getting a lovely double kill, but eventually he does get stopped in his tracks by Flarich. Hellraisers getting themselves the 6th round, and so far building up a lovely little streak on the CT side.
And that means that Nexus once more back to the drawing board, but economy-wise they can't really do too much. So, well, I'm thinking pistol armor, and indeed they will go for the pistol armor. That might mean that Hellraisers will go to a 7th round of their own. And of course that's not really something you want to take in towards account. Hellraisers seem strong once more. Of course, this is their map pick as well. So we shouldn't take that as, well, a given that Nexus can get a 2-0 as IEM will actually go for a little bit of a run boost across the corner. Will now also get a kill towards Problem. But the problem is they've just lost 2 players as well. IEM low with that AK. Might actually want to trade it out with BTN or Raga, because they also have that armor going for him. And it seems as if they're split, and so far IEM is the sole player at those B stairs, and the rest of Nexus is trying to contest via mid, now going down towards a possible angle towards a player pushing. Is going to be J Lime getting one. Raga getting one in return, but look at the HP. Equal for both T-side players. And with a 2v3 situation and Raga actually going towards the A side alone, it's going to be hard. Seems to be a fake as well, so that means that, well, eventually we'll have to go towards B, where he will be shot down by Kalinka.
Sadly, the frag's a bit held too heavy on the Hellraiser's side and providing adequate resistance towards Nexus. Them so far starting to now actually build up a bit of a heavier deficit, you know? It's that 6 rounds disadvantage that is quite something to look up against. Even if you might call Vertigo a little bit CT-sided, I do have to admit that, well, at least my prediction of it being a free mapper might have been correct.
Well, do you actually have any new bets going for yourself on towards
No, I'm too
series?
afraid of running out of money.
Oh, that
dramatic, I know.
Very sad.
Of course, it is important to always only bet with money that you're willing to lose.
Indeed, Raga now moving up will be flashed into his entirety. J-Line behind the smoke as well. A little bit of a spray fest could come fairly soon, as there will be a spray coming in from J-Line. He actually transfers on towards Raga. That should have been a frag for Nexus, because you can see those tracers. You can make an educated guess, but they didn't respond in time. Now we do see JR standing by, and eventually not really doing all too much, as well, it's going to be JR peeking in with the AWP, getting one frag for himself, and so far it seems as if Nexus is losing yet another round. A 5-on-2, the bomb dropped, and of course, well, not really much that they can do unless if they get some majestic headshots to come in, which, well, of course they can. However, it seems unlikely as Problem peeks in once more of the AUG and takes down all players apart from Xello.
And we'll see Xello, well, obviously calling the save here, making the best out of it, and just preserving that AWP for the next round, along with the well, lovely chunk of utility that he also has in his hands.
Kalinka going for a slight push, of course, trying to spray through the smoke, but well, there's nothing much to say apart from we know that Xello is saving. 1v5, you can't really get anything. Even a bomb plant would be a stretch of the imagination. He's still moving in a little bit, trying to stand above this ladder position, saying, "Oh, it's a beautiful ladder. Not much color around this map, but this is orange. I like orange."
Yeah, you know,
Seems
just
to
kind of
fit with the T-side team.
take a little tour around Vertigo, because what else are you going to do, you know, whilst trying to save out that AWP? Best case of, well, best thing to do for him is just make sure that he
got scared.
Oh boy. Oh, that was mighty dangerous, but in the end, he does manage to make it out with his life. So Xello is able to take that AWP with him, but let's hope for Nexus that him taking that AWP with him will actually mean a, well, market improvement for them, because so far their round disadvantage is getting bigger and bigger, and that is only going in the favor of Hellraisers. They have now, of course, gotten their 8th round, which means that regardless of how the first half ends, they will at the very least have a 1-round advantage.
Well, they are doubting tactical damage to come out from Nexus because they had an AWP, but their buy apart from that up, not too great. The rest of the players apart from IEM can buy those AKs, yet utility will be scarce. And are they really wanting to gamble it and go for an aim fight against Hellraisers so far, out-aiming them? It's gonna be very hard because you need that utility to work with it. Wasting the AWP and then doing an eco now, buying next. You have to save that AWP twice, because otherwise you won't have that money on towards Xello to buy a new one. So there's a little bit of a discussion most likely going on towards the Nexus side, and it seems like they're deciding to go for a pistol armor around Xello. Of course, Xello will have to lead the aggression, having some bait works around with the players possibly diving in left, right, and center to distract the Hellraisers players.
I do believe that's the best possible move that they could have gone for, you know? Making sure that with that they'll at least somewhat capitalize on that AWP, but they also won't completely break the bank and force themselves onto, well, 2 ecos in a row if they do lose this map or this round. Let's not get too hasty now, you know. Of course, them losing this map is starting to look like a more realistic possibility by each round, but Nexus has that comeback potential. They've proven it in the past, so shouldn't be too worried just yet. They also didn't post too good of a round against Hellraisers in the first half of the previous map. So, who knows? If they had a 6-9 result there at the end of the first half, then maybe now they'll just come back a little bit later and a bit fiercer on the second half.
Are you saying Nexus comeback kings?
Perhaps. That could be a good way to interpret my words, yes.
Look at this small angle being held by JR. If they do start pushing, he could get a kill, and indeed, he will get a decent tag on, I do believe, IEM. Raga as well being tagged up towards 54 HP. Means that, well, things will slow down, but Hellraisers will be ready with some utility. There's still a nade on towards JR, which he loves to use to get some kills. And going towards that ARM, there might actually be some damage to be dealt. The cones start flying, but the body's still standing. Nexus will go for that A execute. There's actually a lot of players, actually 4 already standing by for the side of Hellraisers, trying to then commit on towards those kills. JR going aggressively. How is he still alive? Well, not for long. Braga getting 1. J-Lime also to be traded out. And Kalinka playing close. Missed by the AWP of Braga moving in very aggressively. Flarich now taking down 1 together with Problem as well. It's going to be a 3-on-2, but the bomb has been planted. At least some money to be gained for the side of Hellraisers. Or at least for Nexus, I dare to say, but Hellraisers, of course, as well, winning the round and having some kills in the process. 8-1 will turn in towards 9-1.
Whilst the end result of the round is still negative for Nexus, they did get a plant in, and they dealt some economy damage to Hellraisers, so not too terrible for that, well, sort of pistol buy / JW hero play. JR even. JW, that's, of course, another player on a bit of a different level. Anyhow, Hellraisers are getting scarily close to those double digits, has to be said. And their reserves are also looking quite fine.
Well, we do see the buy coming out from Nexus, of course, saving for this round. And Xello being quite beneficial with that bomb plant to come in. Meaning he also has the funds to do whatever he wants. And actually have, of course, that AK for himself. No Khalils, which will save you, of course, a little bit of a awkward fight the moment you get a headshot but not a kill in. It's going to be utility. Plenty for Nexus, but they've already used quite a bit to at least establish a little bit of map pressure. So far, not really gaining anything. As J-Lime, rather aggressive, tries to go for a peek towards Ramp, and Kalinka said, well, I'll give you mid control, but that angle is very hard to clear if you are AT, because the moment you go up on towards the scaffolding, there's so many angles to check. J-Line moving up together with Problem. Seminse will go down. It's the opening frag in favor of Hellraisers once more, but there are 2 refrags coming in from none other than Father B. Meaning that, well, they are low. They do have a good chance of at least approaching a side and possibly actually gaining a second round for themselves. Would this be a 9-6? I think that would be a crazy good score for the side of Nexus, of course. IEM standing by to hold off the flank as the last 3 players will start moving towards the side. Utility to be thrown, but look at the player going towards the yellow tarp from the side of Hellraisers. It's going to be JR holding towards the side, but the flank from Kalinka will be huge if it works, but it won't. Only JR alive. He-Man on the flank will get 1 kill. Will still face on towards the mid, and well, the problem is that JR will get a kill as well. A 3v1, but I would expect the AWP on the side of Hellraisers to save. However, he says we have money for days. I go peek.
Yeah, he's feeling adventurous. And he could definitely maybe get another frag out of this. It's possible. It depends on how defensive Nexus will play this after plan. Of course, now JR has his position given away. They could start pushing him now if they really wanted to commit to trying to empty out those Hellraisers reserves again.
They need the money. They need the money themselves. They don't have the reserves. So, of course, they have to at least try to hold on for as much as they can. Utility and, of course, economy-wise as well. But look at the HP. They also have to get quite far away to be safe rather than sorry. No players dying to the bomb, luckily. 9-2 coming in, and Nexus at least now finally bouncing back slightly. But they need to get back as well on towards the following rounds. Hellraisers can buy. They will have whatever they need, whatever they want. But will it be enough for them to hold on towards this lead, or will Nexus creep closer by the round?
Oh, sounds mighty dangerous almost. We'll have to see, of course. It would be a good start for Nexus to try and keep Hellraisers from achieving those double digits. Even if you might call Vertigo CT-sided, I'd still say that double digits is a bit too much of an advantage to end your CT side with. And it doesn't start too well. IEM gets taken out by Problem there, but Semente does immediately throw it back. Problem, though, in the afterlife, still has the gleeful joy of getting a molly frag.
Well, sometimes it happens. More often, it doesn't. As we do see Kalinka standing on towards the B side. Currently alone, but will be supported by his teammates in the near future. A flank also coming down from the B stair, so this shouldn't be a round 1 by the side of Nexus. As Kalinka is waiting for his teammate to come in, and the teammate will soon get a kill, or unless if Kalinka is standing by, he will do it himself. JR now also moving over the AWP towards the mid area, trying to contest there. And I'm actually curious to see where the bomb is actually being dropped. I think a little bit too far away as J-Lime gets an easy spray down for 2. 10-2 scoreline, and as you said, double digits will be hard to overcome. But for a comeback team as Nexus, not impossible. And will it go to overtime? The odds do say no.
That's not very surprising, to be quite honest. I do have to say I'm surprised by how much that's still in favor of no, to be quite honest, because like I really don't see overtime happening in the slightest. But of course, hey, I'm not one to question things. I'd say that's a solid case to make your bet on, so to speak.
Well, let's see. It's going to be J-Lime going rather aggressive once more. And it's going to be him moving up. Of course, Hellraiser winning more and more rounds means overtime seems less and less likely. Xello and Rega both getting a kill, however. Makes it a 5-3. JR moving up with the AWP trying to get in. But Nexus, they need their energy, and they will get all the energy from their fans. Of course, always rooting for them. And those green hearts will shine through, making it a 5v1 planned to eventually come down once the bomb will reach the side. But this should be an easy hold, or at least should be, will be, might be.
Oh, you never know, but nah, this is pretty guaranteed to be in the hands of Hellraisers. They shouldn't worry, unless Problem, of course, comes with the clutch of the century. It's possible, but quite unlikely, as he is going to hop up here by CT and slowly but surely. Oh, but Xello might actually outpeak him here. No, Problem does see it. But, oh, this engagement is messy, and that does actually mean a frag for Xello. Quite aggressive even, you know, going for those that after spray and actually...
It was awkward.
Yeah, rubbing it in a little bit, and with that, Nexus getting their 3rd round. And who knows, this might be the little start at the end of the first half that Nexus needed to propel themselves once they do get that halftime switch in a moment and go to the CT side.
Swag 7 being brought up by Problem, and he gonna style upon his enemies. Well, will he be able to? That's going to be the question. It's going to be a deagle for Flarage. Also, of course, the AWP on towards AR. That's a very good pickup. As it's going to be J-Line walking through this molly. I'm not sure if it was his own.